Hey guys, Ron here, back for another one. Today I'm working on the Acadian, and I picked up off a marketplace this bezel from a nice guy named Tim out on the west end here. So I'm gonna see if I can just freshen this guy up a bit. I'll try and make it a little more usable than what it currently is. It's these things are ridiculously priced to replace them new. So I'm gonna see if I can't make use of this one. So when I look at it here, I can see at some point he had a problem with his wiper motor switch, and ended up drilling out a couple holes to mount it. Probably had a screw here and a screw here, and there's a hole up here. That one I'm not too worried about because you can't really see it. Had a couple of oddball holes here. My guess is probably triple gauges, but I don't know. This is a AC dash bezel. Not that I need that. Anyway, let's start ripping her down. 1/4 inch socket is what you'll need. Just rip this off here. Throw that over there. Hey, where are you going? It's not coffee break time. Throw those in there. Let's get these guys off. That off. There we go. Throw those in there. What do we got here? Do I have to show the wiring for this? I feel like it is. Okay. I'll throw that in there too, why not? That's for the rear defog. I'm just gonna stay there. Prefer if it didn't. I might have to. I have to just throw a piece of tape over that. Protect it. Okay. This little light here, how's that come off? I think that's just gonna stay there too. Alright. Let me go grab some cleaner and we'll clean this up and get it ready to go. Okay, so initially I just want to do just a straightforward, just kind of wipe her down kind of deal. Let's see what we're working with. Using this real heavy duty cleaner from the dollar store called LA's Totally Awesome. And I gotta say that it's totally awesome. I don't know if it comes from Leduc, Alberta or Los Angeles, but pretty good stuff, you know, and so much as it cleans a little bit anyway. We'll just give her a quick wipe. Taking off a lot of dirt. And it looked pretty clean when we started, I gotta say, so just kind of shows you just how much dirt you can pull off just by giving her a quick little clean. Before we actually go ahead and paint this or dye it later, we will hit it again with acetone. But first, I just want to get it clean. Same as on the back. There's nothing worse than trying to install these things when they're dirty and dusty and dirty. Dusty and dirty and dusty and dirty. Because what ends up happening is you get your hands all covered in the filth, and everywhere you touch on the outside, it's covered in it too. And it just sucks. You do this nice install and you get it all filthy from touching the back of it. Yeah, my ADHD kicks in sometimes and get sidetracked. There's like this spot on the paint that's not the same. Because everything around it makes me wonder if something was on there. This car sat for a lot of years. I don't know how many. I didn't get that information when I bought it, but this car looks like it was a field find to me. The guy I bought it from, he put the motor in it and got it running and stuff. But it still has quite a ways to go. Anyway, let's get back at this. So before we even think about, you know, putting some black paint or black dye or anything like that on here, we want to repair our problem areas, which is these two holes are a problem area to me. It's too bad about that. But I guess that's gonna have to work for us, I guess. So we're those two areas, and then we got this area. That one doesn't really bother me. But if we're gonna patch those. So what was back here before, I wonder? Should we have studs coming out of there? Let me go check. Actually, those are like receivers, eh? How are we going to do that? Maybe I'll have to take our wiper switch out of the car and eyeball her up and see what we got. All right. Well, we got a good starting point now, at least. Okay. So how are we going to build that up? You got any ideas? I don't. What about a piece of vacuum hose? Think vacuum hose would support it if we backed it with that way we could actually use the holes we have. I'd even be able to use those holes and run some screws through this way. I mean, a guy could always mount. You could always mount your switch before you install your dash, and then all you would do is plug in your dash, right? I don't know if you're with me on that or not. I could almost make that work. So that one's already lined up. That one's off just a bit, but I think I would push that back. Maybe I should just draw that up. And here I need almost just like the thickness of like a washer almost. Okay. So far so good. Now for this one down here. That looks like that'll work. So now to line it all up. So this one's not too bad to line up. I can actually just draw a screw through the other side. So I'll just run this through this side. Thread that on. That should put us close. Yeah, something like that. That guy's just gonna tap on there. And this guy down here, he goes just a little to the south. So, what are you going to use for an adhesive, Ron? That's a good question. I do have a good answer for that. So this guy here, some pretty good spot. That guy's going to be good. And this guy goes on the bottom here. So we kind of go like that. So, and of course you guys know my buddy Jeff. He turned me on to this, like using auto body adhesive basically for everything. And then you just leave the old mixing tube on there, and then when you're ready for the next one, just grab it, throw it on, and now you're going to use it. No big deal. And what happens is this thing mixes it up as it comes out. I'm probably going to put more in this tube than I'll actually use. And it'll just kick it out the end. That's pretty much all I'm going to need right there. I think, anyway. And this stuff works real good. So I'm just going to tap her in here. A little taparoo. And that's going to set up hard as a rock. And then same thing on here. It's got threads on the inside, so I don't really want to go too crazy with the amount of adhesive I put on here. So I'm really just trying to raise this up a bit. Slide that guy on there. Just like that. And then down here, I think what I want to do, so just kind of smear some of this stuff on here. Just like that. Get her on here. Just kind of like that. We'll pile a little bit up around the outside here like a fillet weld. I'll just pile her in there. Kind of like that. So, stuff would also work pretty good for filling that as well. It fills that hole pretty good, just like that. This one we got the screw in there, so I don't really want to mess with that too much. Hope I got that in the right spot now. I always can't leave anything alone, eh? You know, grab another couple of screws and put one in there. You do want to make sure you're not actually gluing your switch in. So that's not my intent, right? But I do want to glue the mounting there. So the stuff I'm using is it's actually 5 minutes. So it takes 5 minutes to set up. You have like a 5-minute working time with it, which is what I like. I don't want to be leaving this sitting for too long. And now if you're actually using it for, say, quarter panels, you may want a little more time than 5 minutes. But I'm not doing quarter panels. I'm repairing a dash. So 5 minutes to me is plenty. So we'll set this up. Maybe I'll put a piece of tape on here to hold that. There we go. Let's let that sit up and we'll come back to it and see how she looks. Okay, so now that we got that all glued up and got our holes kind of filled in there, what I want to do is just want to take a little bit of acetone, just kind of give this thing a wipe here, get her cleaned up a little bit better than what we currently got. Just make it a little bit better, you know? I'm just going to grab some of this Rust-Oleum paint. It's for plastic, metal. The trick with this is not to get too carried away. Otherwise you'll lose the grain. And that's one thing I really don't want to do. Just want to dust it on, especially where the grain is. And for the super boring part, I'm going to take this, just a regular old silver Sharpie. This one says metallic silver. I just pick it up at the drugstore. Nothing fancy about it at all. I'm going to just start outlining everything. Don't worry, I'll put this on fast forward or time lapse or whatever it's called. We'll get this done. Well, there's where we ended up. I hope you guys like it. You know, it's not rocket science here. Just basically a spray and then hit it with the Sharpie, but it sure spruced her up, didn't it? I think so anyway. I'm a big fan of doing this on pretty much everything I get. It just really cleans it up. Makes it look a little crisper, a little nicer. I hope you found this helpful. If so, do me a favor, think about subscribing. We are kind of short on subscribers around here. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me this long. And we'll see you on the next one.